Alright, you're welcome to our 18th lesson in science, and I hope you're doing well. Thank God we have completed the topic under light energy, which is under the section energy. We're looking at a new unit called life cycle of flowering plants under section cycles. And to begin this topic, we're looking at the following objectives. 1. Arrange the stages of the life cycle of flowering plants. And then 2. Describe flowering as a stage of life cycle of flowering plants. So why don't you move straight to the main lesson. You remember in your primary class you were introduced to flowering plants and you were introduced to stages or processes that flowering plants go through from time of seed to the time of maturity. So these stages we say are repeated in nature, they are cyclic in nature. What then is the meaning of life cycle of flowering plants? Life cycle of flowering plants refers to repeated pattern of processes plants go through from seeds to maturity. Go through from seeds to maturity. Now let's look at the stages of life cycle of flowering plants. What are the stages? We will identify 7 main ones. You should be able to arrange them in order. So the first one is flowering, followed by pollination, then fertilization. After fertilization, there is fruit and seed formation. After fruit and seed matures, the seeds are dispersed. And when the seeds find fertile ground with suitable condition, they germinate. From germination, a seedling or young plant is produced. This plant matures and flowers, and the cycle is repeated. Hence the name life cycle of flowering plants. So take note of the order in which the stages of life cycle are presented. Now let's take the first one. Today we are looking at the first one, flowering. Flowering. By saying flowering, it is the process whereby mature plants bear sexual reproductive organ called flower. Mature plants bear sexual reproductive organ called flower. Now let's look at the typical diagram or diagrams of longitudinal section of a flower. This is more of colored type. This one is a diagram but usually drawn in exam. They are similar. The major features of this flower, we have the petals. There's petal. Then we have the sepal, the green structure here. Then we have the female reproductive parts called the carpel or the pistil. The parts of the carpel or pistil are stigma, style. The large case is the ovary. Inside it we have the oval. Then we have the receptacle, the base of the pistil. Then we have the pedicel or the flower stalk. Then we have the male reproductive part called the stamen. The top is the anther, and then the structure supporting the anther is the filament. The second diagram is similar in structure. We have the petal, We have the female reproductive part called the pistil or the carpel. We have the part stigma, style, and ovary. Inside it, we have the ovule. We have the sepal, stamen. Alright, so take note of the diagrams. In an exam, you are likely to draw this one. Never draw the flower and paint it. It is drawn like this. So let's take notes. Today's lesson is short, being an introductory part of the life cycle of flowering plants. In our next lesson, we shall look at the other two stages, if time will permit us. But we will support the stages with diagrams for better explanation. So do your best to keep in touch tomorrow for that lesson. Now, to prove you have understood this lesson, do this exercise. In your exercise, you take a snapshot and upload it for me to mark. We are supposed to arrange all the 7 stages of life cycle of flowering plants in order. 2. Draw a well-labeled flower. And the warning is that do not download any flower from the internet. Neither must you draw the flower electronically using your computer or your hand on the phone. Use pencil to draw the flower in your exercise book and take a snapshot and send it onto the page. If you don't do it that way and draw it electronically or download the flower, it will be marked down. Alright, thanks for your patience. Do your best to do the exercise and watch tomorrow's lesson for the continuation of this lesson. Until we meet again, bye bye.